Hello and welcome to Watch Parties here at CCC. We are so glad that you're joining us to pursue Jesus together. This past Sunday, Pastor Brad talked about pursuing Jesus and that whole idea of what that looks like practically, and just really emphasizing that community is so important when we decide to pursue Jesus. It provides belonging, stability, and all of those good things.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about this past weekend is that a decision to pursue Jesus is something you decide individually, but it's something you walk out relationally with others. There really is no following Jesus without being amongst others who are following Jesus. If you go back to scripture, you can see Jesus invited not one person, but 12 disciples to come follow him. He called the 70 to himself and he sent them out in twos. He doesn't want anyone to be alone in their ministry and in what he was calling them to do. Even thinking about some of the other invitations that he gave to people like the rich young ruler, go sell all your possessions, come be a part of what's going on here, come follow me, come be with the others that are here following me. So, this is really important when we break down not only our vision, but really Jesus' vision for the church, our church, and every church is to be together, to be in community, to be in relationship. These words are way overused. Community, connection, belonging, relationship, all these things. We talk about them constantly because it's something that we're starving for. We starve for this, for more and better relationships, for healthier relationships, more meaningful relationships. It's something we're starving for, and yet Americans, by and large, are the loneliest people on the planet still somehow. And we could talk about all the cliches about social media, and we've got more friends on Facebook and no friends in real life and all this. You've heard all that kind of stuff. So I'll just skip over that and just say, we're just starving for this. We need this. We need relationship. We need significant, meaningful, authentic relationship and connection with others. But I think one of the main reasons why we don't, we know we need it, but still we kind of sabotage it in different ways. It's because it's costly. It's costly to walk in relationship. It's so easy to just dictate my own day and my own life, pick my own Netflix shows, all those things, and not have to worry about someone else. Because it's costly to include someone else in my life, to walk in relationship, to give up some of my comforts for, in fact, when we walk in relationship, we give up a lot of things. We give up control over certain things like the TV remote. We give up control over, who's paying for coffee today, who's getting the groceries, who's, how are we making plans together rather than just doing what I want to do. I could pick the restaurant and be there by myself, but that's not fun, right? Yeah. I'd rather give up and pay the cost of maybe picking, a restaurant that wouldn't be my favorite, but I get to be there with someone that I love. You also give up your time. When someone else is in your life, they need your time and you need their time. And so you kind of give up, that aspect of your life. You give up your comfort. I can be plenty comfortable sitting on the couch in my sweatpants by myself. Yeah. But when I walk with someone else in my life, usually they're challenging me. They're inviting me to something that is helping me grow and make me a little uncomfortable, which is good. And also it takes more energy because Lord knows when you got ready for this watch party, you cleaned your house. Maybe you clean your house more often than you would normally. When you have your watch party folks coming over, you clean a little more regularly, and that's a good thing too. But there's a cost associated with walking in relationship. It really is, if you really break it down in this way, it really is kind of a form of suffering in a society and a culture that we live in that is so focused and prioritized on our own personal comfort, the comfort of the individual. Compared to that and the way we're living our lives, walking in real authentic relationship looks like suffering. When I willingly decide I'm willing to give up some of what I want so that I can give to you what you really want or need, that is a cost. There's a cost associated with it. But it's important to us, it's important to all of our lives. It was also really important to Jesus. That's why he spoke so many times on relationship, how to love each other, how to care for each other, be selfless. And in Matthew 5, Jesus said something really, really interesting. This is in the Sermon on the Mount. And in verse 23, he said, if you are presenting a sacrifice at the altar in the temple, and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you, leave your sacrifice there at the altar, go and be reconciled to that person, then come and offer your sacrifice to God. This is kind of a really radical thing that Jesus is saying. He's saying, I am God. I am to be worshiped. and I will gladly delay the worship you want to bring me if it means you can go and be reconciled in a relationship that has some kind of conflict going on. Jesus literally is saying, pause your worship, go fix this relationship, go mend the relationship if possible, and then come back and offer your sacrifice, offer your worship to me. That's pretty radical, and we see that played out in the life of many people in the Bible, but one I think of today is Zacchaeus in Luke chapter 19. Zacchaeus was looking for the Lord, trying to see him through the crowd, couldn't find him, climbed a tree, and then Jesus looks up and goes, hey, I'm coming to your house for dinner. And in this interaction, in this encounter with Jesus, Zacchaeus totally does a 180 in his life. He had been kind of, looked at begrudgingly as the guy who always came and took money away from me and my family because he was a tax collector, and that was just kind of the reputation. So he wasn't a guy that got invited to many parties probably. But Jesus said, hey, I'm coming to your house for dinner. In the encounter, Zacchaeus turns his life around, and it says Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord, and if I've cheated people on their taxes, I'll give them back 4 times as much. Zacchaeus is kind of walking out exactly what Jesus said in Matthew 5. Before I come to you, Lord, and give my life as an offering, let me go fix these relationships first. Let me go fix the wrong that I've done first against these people in my community. It's a really beautiful expression, a real practical look at Zacchaeus responding to the Lord. So it takes more, for sure, out of my wallet and out of my time and out of my comfort to walk in relationship. But I would say it's more of a short-term, long-term comparison, because in the short term, I could be more comfortable, but then in the long term, I'll be more lonely. In the short term, I can have more money in my wallet, but in the long term, I'll be less rich in relationship than really I want to be. So it's worth the cost. That's why we love watch parties here at Christ Community Church. It's not just for building our church, it's for building your life. So we're so glad you're joining us to pursue Jesus here in this video.
Yeah, and I think one of my favorite aspects of watch parties is the discussion piece, which we're going to head into right now. So take the next 15 minutes or so, obviously pause the video if you need more time. Just engage in some discussion with your watch party. Don't be afraid to be a little vulnerable. This is a safe place for you in your watch party. And if you're watching this on your own, like maybe pull out a journal so you can kind of dialogue with the Lord a little bit, and we'll see you right back here when you're all done with that.
Hey, welcome back. Hopefully you had some great discussion. And if you're watching this on your own, some great time with the Lord, just thinking, journaling, reflecting. And we want to kind of just land the plane by responding to what Jesus said in Matthew 5 that we talked about earlier. You know, Jesus said, leave your offering right here at the altar, go first and be reconciled in the relationship. So I want to just say, is there somebody right now that's coming to mind that you need to mend something that's been broken or some kind of conflict between the two of you? And you feel like the Lord's really just putting it on your heart, that Jesus is literally saying, before you come to me, before we get together, why don't you go work on this relationship first and then come bring your offering. I just wonder if there's someone that you need to reach out to work on the relationship, to work on mending the relationship. And I want to give you some good advice. This is just some simple practical advice right here in the ending of our video. Start with, I'm so sorry, ... whatever details might be there. This relationship really means something to me. This relationship's really important to me. And then take it from there. However it needs to go. But consider doing that and just ask the Lord to help you continue to build and pursue better relationships as you pursue Jesus together with others.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And I'm even thinking of just some people that, I need to do that with, and how conflict can be so scary. But, we are reconciled to each other through the Lord. And so it's not something you have to be afraid of, but
Right.
It's just so good. And I'm excited to see what happens through that.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us here at Watch Parties. We're so excited and glad that you tuned into this video. We hope to see you next week at our next Watch Party and hopefully on Sunday as well. So we'll see you then.
See ya.
We zooming in this?
Nope.
No, it was fine the way it was.
Perfect the way it was.
Wow.
Why did you change it?
You were in everything. You're so annoying. I mean, you're so funny. I'm trying this new thing where instead of saying you're so annoying to Elijah, I say you're so funny.
That's a really sweet thing.
Which
My loving wife, everyone. Okay. Guys' night.
We've had a guys' night. I don't think have we ever had a guys' night?
What do you mean by we?
Me and you.
This has been recording this whole time.
Every week you ask that.
Is guys' night 2 guys or is guys' night a bunch of guys?
I mean, if I'm a guy and you're a guy, then technically we are guys.
It's the plural of guys.
Never gonna let that down.
Mm-mm. Never gonna let you. I like how we both started singing, but didn't actually sing any words after halfway through it. Never gonna let you. Okay, this is how I end up so red in these videos.
That's the
My
goal.
face, just my face. Everything else
I do
is
as
white.
much as I can with white balance, but there's
Yeah, you
only
didn't have
so
to tell me
much.
that.
Elijah,
It looks good, the picture.
you're so funny. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Watch Parties here at CCC. Why'd you laugh? I just don't know what was funny about that. I thought I did a great job.